Welcome, everybody, to Wall Street Reporter's next Superstock. This is the CEO live chat for today, October 7th, 2020. We have with us once again FansUnite and the CEO, Scott Burton. Scott, welcome back.
Hi, Jack. How are you doing?
Fantastic, Scott. There's a lot of excitement kind of building in the esports, the sports betting space. We had, I think, just a few weeks ago, the CEO of DraftKings. He said that they're expecting that esports betting is going to be possibly their biggest category, bigger than live sports.
Yeah, and we would agree with that. That's kind of the future, as we can see by what the next generation of fans are doing. They're not going to baseball. They're going to the top esports titles. And I got a couple of things that we can sort of mention to speak to that in terms of numbers, because the pandemic that we're going through really produced some results that we could look at in terms of esports growth and appetite. And so some of the UK sports books recently put out some numbers. And if you looked at March over March, so March 2019 to March 2020, the markets on offer, so that means the amount of options to bet on esports, so betting on games, matches, tournaments, the markets on offer on UK sports books was up over 4,000% year over year.
So what does that mean? Wait. Markets on offer means different betting propositions?
Different games, matches on esports. So yeah, it could have been they were picking up different propositions. They were picking up different games. So, the top 3 games for esports betting have been typically PC-based games that have history. So Counter-Strike, League of Legends, Dota 2. So what happened with the lack of sports is everybody realized that their esports offerings weren't, they needed to beef them up. So they've added many markets. Revenue was up over 3,000% in that time on esports betting. There was a large increase in that of the, betting on sort of what would be considered more traditional style sports on esports. So betting on FIFA or Madden. So now you're betting on people playing, an electronic soccer game or an electronic football game. But what it's really done is shown people, especially operators that we try and work with, the value of having sort of a robust esports offering. So that's what we've been trying to push for the last number of years in our platform. And the interest in our platform now has kind of gone through the roof with this realization that esports are kind of here to stay. And if you're a traditional operator, you need to have a solution.
Yeah, it's funny. Every time I have you on, I always find this. I find this the whole concept of esports, of betting, betting on esports. It's like, and the engagement level of esports, it's mind-boggling. I haven't played video games since the Commodore 64. So it's been a few years, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's fascinating because the way the society is right now is like, unlike regular sports, and we've talked about this, and it's just, I find this amazing, is that people, they can relate to esports because anybody can play this, anybody can play these games, and and then they can watch, and there's kids making like $10 million a year in their basements.
Yeah.
Maybe at the mansion now, but there's guys people are paying $20 million to watch some of these guys play esports.
Yeah. The revenue abilities now for people to actually be professional gamers, and that is, it's huge. Streamers are, as you say, are making $500,000 to $1 million a month just by the audience they can generate, and that's where everybody's looking to. How do you capture? How do you monetize that? And that's been some of the struggle in the esports space, I think, for the last couple of years. Is there's no denying that it's massive, it's growing, and it's not going to stop. And the thing we like about the betting aspect is this is an actual way to monetize the eyeballs that are all engaged, and you can create highly engaging betting products off it. So I think far better than what you get with traditional sports.
No, definitely. I think you've given some demos before. So essentially you're able to with your product, like your esports product, you're able to do, if I remember, you can bet before the outcome of the game beforehand, right? you can bet during the game, in stream, I think you call it, and
Yep.
various different, like propositions inside. Like what? Give us some examples. Like this is crazy stuff.
Yeah, so some examples, games often play on rounds or maps, so how many rounds are going to be played. But then in a game like Counter-Strike, who's going to get the first headshot? Is there going to be a knife kill next round? Is the bomb going to get planted? And it's endless. And the beauty for us is with esports is the data is so rich and robust and it's accurate. So if you're a traditional sports bettor, which we do that as well with the FansUnite product, if you're a traditional sports bettor, all of those in-play options are limited because it requires a human input, and there can be errors. So if you're playing in play on a real life tennis match, that's actually somebody putting in, where the serve landed or what happened. If you're talking esports, it's direct for server, so you can get real time and real accurate and just endless combinations of bets. So really what we see with our stream betting product is, as you mentioned, that ability to roll out bets every 20 to 30 seconds for an entire match. And it's really then generates time on site, and it gives you an opportunity to increase the monetization of every user. Because, if you're in the sports betting world, you're paying hundreds of dollars a user. So to acquire a user, people are paying $300 to $500 these days to capture that user. So with esports betting, we just accelerate the ability to get that lifetime value, the acquisition cost back, and then increase lifetime value over time, just by the amount of markets we can throw at it. And for us, we just did something exciting that we announced yesterday. If I could jump on that.
The news.
So.
I want to talk about this news.
Yeah. So we, we're always trying to make our platform better. So yesterday we announced a new data partner with Pinnacle Solutions. So now anybody who's using our Chameleon platform, that's the B2B platform. So, you can think of it like a Shopify for gambling sites. You can come to us and we can give you a white label product. We do the full payments, we do the KYC, we do the hosting, we do the licensing. You just come and brand it and market. So with Pinnacle offering now, you can access that through our platform. So we're the first B2B product to offer up Pinnacle Solutions esports betting data, and some things there. For people who don't know, Pinnacle is one of the biggest, online sports books in the world, known for having the best traders in the world, known for being the best margin sports book out there, or lowest margin. So it allows our partners to plug into that and access the odds and risk and trading management of Pinnacle Solutions. And the value there is, to take that offering is one of the big hurdles that we've found in esports. So we've been at esports betting since 2014. We've been around the space. And as we talk to larger operators who come from a traditional sports background, the concern has often been about the ability to make money off of esports betting. And really that is because with it being such a new space, having people who can set odds accurately is a real challenge. You're talking about teams that are fairly new. You're talking about a new model to put towards betting on esports, where the ones they have for NFL or basketball or soccer are fairly well established. So guys are concerned about that ability, because if you get the lines wrong, you can lose a lot of money. For anyone who understands the sportsbook space, that's how they make money, the margin there. So having the Pinnacle option, I think takes a lot of that away. Pinnacle's been doing odds on esports since 2010. I think people don't realize how long some people have been at this, and Pinnacle's sort of the first ones doing it, and have been known to be the best at making money off esports. So we take away a big barrier for partners now if they were thinking they need esports, but we're still concerned about that. I think that takes that away, and Pinnacle can even do things like guaranteed margin. So if you're concerned about that, we can work on that. So it's a huge option that we can now give to our partners in addition to the other data streams.
Okay, and your partners now it's actually you're entering the U.S. market now. You announced this recently.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be in a partnership with, what is it, Gameco? You're going to be entering the U.S. market, so you're going to be offering you're going to sort of have a product for esports betting in physical casinos and also whatever online, however they access it online. So this is going to be this is going to be part of it. This Pinnacle kind of data, is that what we call it, a data product, or what is that?
Yeah, it's really a data feed. So in the sports betting world, there's people like Sport Radar, there's Bet Genius. If you move on to esports, there's additional ones. So typically, a lot of sports books, Sport Radar, for example, would provide hundreds of online sports books with their data. So you're getting from them, you're getting all the match calendars, so you can put the matches up on site. You're getting start times, you're getting end times. Then you're getting, if you dig down, you can get their trading services, which means that you'll be showing the odds from their trading teams on your site. So it's a data product. The nice thing about Pinnacle is they have a relationship with Grid Esports, and Grid is doing direct data partnerships with different tournaments, different leagues, different publishers. And so that gets access to the actual data streams. So that allows us to show those on site as well, without lags typically. So a lot of the problem with some operations or data feeds is if they don't have the exclusive rights with the operator, then you're going to be running off of a lag, which impacts the business, especially if you're trying to in-play betting. So here we're confident in those feeds. We're confident in the traders, and then we can add it to the mix of products that we can offer. So in addition to that, that's on the fixed odds betting side. So that's what people would expect to see from a traditional sports book. You go in and you see the odds of who's going to win. We also offer our stream in play, which is pari-mutuel betting or pool style. So there the actual users are creating the returns. It's not a bookmaker. It's not an odds maker. We still have our esports daily fantasy product, and then we've added our own casino style games, random number generated games.
Okay. Now, one thing I want to kind of go back to for just a second is you mentioned, the valuation of, of users, what, I guess the customer value, like you said, like $300 to $500 per user.
Yeah, and could be higher, but yeah, and it's in the hundreds. So if a traditional sports book is going to be paying, that's going to be their customer acquisition cost is in the hundreds of dollars per depositing user.
Okay. And you actually have a user base of, I think you said 300,000 customers right now.
Yeah, if you look at across the suite of products that we have under FansUnite, so FansUnite being the parent company, if you look at the esports betting products we have ourselves, if you look at McBookie, if you look at our social product under FansUnite, yeah, we have over 300,000 registered users right now in our network. That doesn't include the ones that are using our our white label partners, so that increases it.
Just the B2C. We're only talking about the B2C customers. So you have 300. So in theory, that business is worth, 100 million plus as the user base. I mean, would another player pay $100 million for FansUnite is the question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would hope so, or more. But yeah, in terms of valuing those users, so we have a combination of free to play and real money. So the 300,000 is that combined number. So on a free to play player, you wouldn't be getting the 300 to 500 per user. But what I would say is those are high intent users. So this isn't just we're gathering random emails. These are people that have signed up to one of our social betting sites. So these sites they mimic betting activity. You can do it free to play. So I would call them pretty high intention users. And so as we can show that we can turn them into depositing users either on our own products or moving into some of our white label partners, the valuation of those go up. The reason why not all are monetizing is we run these sites to use them as an acquisition tool in markets where we're not yet licensed. So we can be acquiring users in areas where we currently don't operate as a licensed product. So North America is our biggest example. So the biggest free-to-play user base we have is in North America. What is nice about having that now, though, is affiliate models also work really really well these days. So the US sportsbooks, I would say, are probably paying higher than what's been average in terms of customer acquisition costs, because it's currently a bit of a land grab in the US. So if you look at with the US regulating at a state level, you got the big names like FanDuel, DraftKings that are spending probably more on acquiring those users, because it is a land grab right now for them. So we can look at our free-to-play sites and turn those into affiliate style models if we choose to, and start to monetize those users. So the value definitely goes up as an affiliate model as well, because typically on an affiliate model, we would either get paid a cost per acquisition or a cost per depositing user. So every time one of our users deposits, we would get paid. Or we could do a rev share deal where as they monetize, we share in the revenues. So as the states continue to open up and the cost of acquiring users keeps going up, we'll be looking at monetizing our free-to-play user base. But if you take our paid users, then yeah, I would say we could be asking for the hundreds of dollars per user, and it gets us a pretty good valuation just on a user base level.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's what I find compelling about the stock right here is, to a large extent, it's I don't know if the word is it's undervalued or it's been de-risked, because you have you have a growing base of revenues, which we're going to talk about. You have big upside, but then you have this kind of base, this user base, which is really worth money. I mean, that's probably worth more than the company's market cap right now.
Yeah. I mean, I won't put a value on it here, but yeah, I think where we're at now is probably undervalued, and it's partly, I think, because of we recently did a two company merge, and that's why we're doing things like this, is to let people understand what that means, how the two companies coming together, what the combined entity looks like. I think we're still being looked at as being valued as if we're each a standalone business, or what we were valued at going in. But combining the user base, combining the revenues, combining the technology, combining the licenses, yeah, I think we're at a pretty low valuation.
I think it's just investors in general, they just don't understand. They don't understand they don't understand the story. The esports it's a little, they have a hard time getting their hands around it. Maybe also, yep. Again, like a lot of our companies that we get involved with, you're on the CSC, the OTC, so there's not really a lot of visibility. So it's kind of, which is the opportunity. So yep. Mohammed is asking or comment. Acquisition value not much higher than, so what is the correct value for the stock? What should it be? At least, well, we're looking for 10x to 100x upside. So but based on the numbers, I think it's got to be at least 3x up from here, based on just the user base.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm confident in our user base and the revenues that are going to be coming out in the next 12 months, that we're on the path to being in the realm of valuations that you're looking for here.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. Now, I just want to say this. So when your news came out yesterday, I want to kind of jump back to the Pinnacle deal. What is it? The Esports Insider, which is anybody can look this up. They're I guess they're the trade publication for the space. So they said this deal will likely open up a significant network of potential partners and clients for both FansUnite and Pinnacle, with brand equity as rich as any bookmaker operating in esports. Pinnacle can surely help legitimize the Chameleon gaming platform and its offerings. So that was their takeaway. They're bullish on this deal for both parties.
Yeah, again, anybody I think who's and the Esports Insider is I'd put it as the top sort of publication out there.
The Wall Street Journal of esports.
They're a little less financial, but they do understand the space, as good as anybody out there, and they put on great events. And if you look back, Pinnacle's always going to be listed as the everyone looks to in the gambling space to talk about esports. They're clearly a leader in the B2C area of esports. As I said, been trading esports longer than anybody. Their trading team knows it better than anybody. So it is definitely, I think, a feather in our cap to be able to put a name like that next to ours, to have been able to be a part of the process of building out the product. So we had some input there on what the product looks like on plugging it into our platform. And it has already opened up opportunities of people that are wanting to get into esports and seeing that announcement and reaching out to us for a full turnkey solution that we can offer, which lets them, for a pretty low entry cost, get themselves up and running with a very robust esports betting platform, probably more so than they could find anywhere else.
Okay, so in terms of going back to the U.S. market, you're in partnership with Gameco. So exactly how will this work? So in other words, now you're going to be able to offer this, the pinnacle, the pinnacle data to casinos. So in other words, they'll feel more comfortable taking esports betting.
Yeah, definitely. It allows us to do that. So the deal with Gameco we did is a multi-partnership there. So it allows Gameco has a lot of the casino relationships. They have the licensing throughout the U.S. So it takes away that massive hurdle for us as a smaller company of going out and trying to license state by state in the U.S. So they give us the license coverage. They have all the relationships, and then we will go in and provide the full front end platform for the operator who wants to run esports betting, and then we can use from one of our multiple data partners. But Pinnacle is an option, so we'll have options for partners on the data side, and this just adds another one going forward. So we have in the U.S. We also partner with the group 10 Star, which I would say is very similar to what Pinnacle has to offer. But we also have Radar built in. We have others, so it's really an ultimate in flexibility on our platform as well. So by having different,
so like one of your customers, they can decide which odds maker they prefer with your system.
Yeah, they can they can have some options there, and really the reason we've sort of set it up that way, because most people you go to only have one data integration, so they have one data partner and that is it. This allows us in the future, so it's really kind of thinking of the future for us, because as the space matures, I think what we'll end up seeing, and we've already seen the beginning of, is exclusive data partnerships at a game publisher level or a tournament level. And that means that, taking the North American example, you'll have Sport Radar has gone and done the exclusive data partnership with the ATP Tennis Tour. So if you want the best in tennis data, you're going to probably want that. So here we can actually turn it on in the future by games or by publishers. So if we decide one group has the best League of Legends data and an exclusive deal with Riot, we can say that's the one we're going to use there. It gets us better stream, no lag. If someone has a better CSGO product, we can turn that on there. But ultimately, it is the option of our partners on what they want to see switched on and off.
Okay, wow, it's incredible. And now Gameco, how many markets are they in the U.S.? I mean, are they pretty much in every market that allows sports betting?
Yeah, so they're I know they're licensed in over 29 jurisdictions total. Some of that's US, some that's outside, but that would cover probably most of the US jurisdictions that are currently allowing sports betting. So they're not right now a sports betting company. So the Gameco really went in on the land-based casino operations with a cabinet-style product that offers up casino-style games to capture a younger generation, a younger demographic. And so their games are similar to what we're doing with our online casino games. They're focused around video game or esports themes, but also try and incorporate a bit of skill, not just chance. So you're not just sitting there pushing a button and watching spinning reels. You're actually almost playing a video game. So that's given them a massive footprint and some great partnerships. Because of their knowledge of the esports space already on the cabinet style, they were getting asked by their casino partners, because all the land-based are looking to get online now as things open up. They're being asked, do you have an online product? And that's when our conversation started. I've known the CEO of Gameco for probably 6 years, Blaine, and he said, is this something we could do, combine forces here? And so we did, and it gives us a huge opportunity, because the US really probably wouldn't have been something we would have attacked even in the next 12 months, just because of the fragmentation they have down there and the uncertainty. in terms of which states are going to not just legalize sports betting, but then after that, they've got to make a decision on esports as well. So just because they've legalized sports betting doesn't mean that you can bet on esports yet.
Okay.
So it's a huge risk to take or a burden in terms of regulation and cost for a company like ours. So that's why we love esports because of the massive opportunity around the rest of the world. But having the partnership with GameCo that takes that away from us allows us to basically now go into the US and get our footprint, our toe in the door, I guess, and grow from there and expand with GameCo.
Okay. Wow. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. So GameCo, can you mention like some examples of the casinos that they work with, like that people would know about? And then they're putting essentially their product is these there's like a cabinet, which is
Yep.
the slot machine type of look, with the
Yeah,
video.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I can speak to their commercial deals, but I'll tell you, I mean, you would know in the casinos you can think of, they're there.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So they're like MGM, Caesars, Penn, whatever it is.
They're on that level. Yeah.
Okay, and they have the machines installed. And how will they? Okay, but so in terms of they're going to be integrating the FansUnite. Your was it the Chameleon? That's kind of your the white label product. That's going to be integrated into their. Is that going to be available in the cabinet or on their like online offering?
So we're starting online.
Okay.
But there are talks about having sort of kiosks at some point in the brick and mortar.
Okay.
The initial requests and opportunities around the online products for these operators that are all switching to online, and obviously with the COVID, online has become more of a priority for everybody to get that moving along quickly because some casinos are still struggling to get people in the door.
Okay, so we got Mohammed saying the stock is I guess he's saying is trading on good volume but dropping. Why not reacting to news? I don't know. It's these things. The markets never make sense. That's kind of the opportunity.
True. Yeah.
All right. So let's. So I asked you about the valuation. We got the game code deal. What else do you have coming up? Like, what kind of news flow do you have that investors can keep an eye on over, as we get into the, we're already in October, we're heading into year end. What else do you have coming up in the hopper?
Yeah, so coming up, we're going to have a couple of new commercial agreements that we'll be announcing pretty quickly here. So I expect to be back on with you in within the next couple of weeks. We've got so both on our Chameleon side, but also on our game side of the business. So Ascot Games, which is developing the online casino games for esports fans. So we have a few things that'll come out of that.
Okay.
No more licensing. So our gaming licenses coming out of Malta, should have those in the next few weeks. The only delay on that was we did the merge. So FansUnite and Ascot merged. Ascot was the one getting the licenses in Malta, but with the new corporate structure, we've had to go back and do the corporate due diligence again. So that's all completed. So we'll be announcing a couple of licenses there. It gets us an EU gaming license in Malta, both out of B2C, so running brands directly ourselves or for white label partners, and then a critical software supply license. So that opens our Chameleon up to hundreds or probably more than that, but hundreds or thousands of operators out of the EU.
Wait, how many? There's hundreds
or thousands for
yeah. How many operators? How big is the market opportunity for like your Chameleon product? How many operators are there that could benefit from what you have?
So there's definitely, I look at, say, a Sport Radar is integrated with over 500 sports books, and that's, a small percentage of the available sports books out there. So it's a massive, massive market if you're just looking at online sports books throughout the world. So through the licenses we have, Malta opens up over 150 different countries. We have a partnership in Curacao, which has, 150 plus countries. We'll be getting a UK license, which allows us in the UK. So that's, hundreds and hundreds of different online operators that we could go into, but because of the way we're structured, we can actually go outside of those as well. So you don't need to be an existing betting operator to work with us. You could just have a large gaming community or large sports fan community and want to monetize through betting. So those are all opportunities for us as well. So there's one group we're working with, had a gaming site with over 3 million registered users, was looking for a way to monetize. So we'll be working to give them a sports bet or an esports product. So
they're an esports website, basically.
Yeah. So there's lots of people who've built out great content and built out great user bases. And, online advertising revenue for a lot of people has been in decline for a long time. So it's, you've got even 100,000 users and you want to monetize them better. This is one way potentially to do it.
Okay. So let's use this example. They have 3 million users. I guess whatever, they're getting news on esports tournaments or whatever, games, whatever. What typically, what percentage of those people are going to be interested in betting? Like, how many of those could convert? How would you monitor? How much could that deal be worth?
Yeah, it's a challenge today because it depends on what countries they're located in and things like that. So, early days with them, I would estimate, we could convert 10 to 15% of the users based on the regions that their users come from and the areas that we're okay to offer real money betting to.
Okay, well, that's significant.
Yeah, for sure.
So 10%, even if it's 100,000, that's still a lot. That's like
that's a lot of people. If they're monetizing on a betting site, that's a lot of people for sure.
Okay, so in terms of the market opportunity, let's talk about the numbers, that investors can kind of like relate to. You mentioned the sports radar. They're at 500 sports books, or they're powering 500 sports books, right? What kind of numbers are they doing? What kind of numbers are they generating with that?
To be honest, I don't know what the revenues of a company like that is, but it's in the hundreds of millions, in the billions for some of these sports books operators. So they're billion-dollar companies in terms of market caps.
Look right now, how many sports books are you powering right now? This white label solution.
So Chameleon, our Chameleon platform currently has five sites running on it right now.
Okay, and you're doing what, a couple million in revenues right now?
Yeah. So as the entire company, so the entire FansUnite, so that includes B2C revenues and B2Bs. Okay. That's where we'll be this year. Expecting to more than double, triple sort of next year based on where we're going. Because last time you had Darius on and he talked about, I think, the growth of McBookie, which was up.
That's B2C.
Yeah.
Consumer
yeah.
product. Okay.
B2C, yeah, exactly. So, their year-over-year turnover in July and August, when there wasn't a lot of sports, was over 100%, and that's not considering the return of sports. So, we're already seeing that one ramp significantly, and that would have been is going to be a larger portion of our revenue this year because we're really just starting to turn on revenue on the Chameleon product. So next year will be a better reflection of that as we add partners.
Okay.
And so, if you talk about roadmap, the additional news coming out, we'll have more partners we'll be announcing. The licensings we just put out for a group, a Latin American focused brand on Chameleon. So Vamos GG is live now, focused on primarily the Brazilian market, which is a very big esports market. So that's live. We've got a group that is doing that, and we'll be running marketing for that site. So we'll be able to start to see some growth on sites like that. Starting the UK license process now, that's been started. So that'll get us access to the UK market.
Okay. So really, there's a lot of runway. I mean, in terms of right now, you have a handful of sports books kind of with Chameleon versus, the sports radar, which has 500. So that kind of speaks to the size of the opportunity. If they're doing, hundreds of millions of dollars more. Yeah. So this, there's some significant opportunity here.
And we're ready to scale. So I think that's important. Like, people talk about I think maybe looking at us as more of a startup. I don't think they understand that, we've got servers and gaming licenses already set up around the world. We've got a global team set up. So we're now at the point where we are just throwing gas on the fire is where we're at. We're trying to add as many partners as we can to platforms. We've got the ramp on revenue on our B2C side, and then we're just going to be introducing our games to market as well. So the Ascot Games side, we haven't talked too much about, and I'll be back on very soon to I think we'll do a full episode on that probably, but
Okay.
that has the potential to be one of the biggest pieces of revenue that we haven't really talked about yet.
Oh, wow. Okay. Excuse me. That's the video game style. Okay.
Yeah. So we've got our next 2 games. So we have, by the end of October or early November, we'll have 4 games complete. We've got a roadmap that'll get us over 10 next year, and the response has been amazing. So we'll be getting those into casino aggregators, and just one aggregator partnership could put us into 100 plus sports books with those games, and they're all revenue shares. So every time somebody plays one of those games on one site, we'll take a percentage of the revenue. So casino aggregators, if people don't know what that means, again, when you go to a traditional sports book or an online casino, you're going to see game content. So currently you're going to see blackjack, you're going to see poker, you're going to see slots. Most of those sites are plugged in with an aggregator, and the aggregator goes and gets content from all different publishers. So Micro Gaming, NetEnt, Scientific Games, or whoever makes the games will put their games in with the aggregator. So then as an online sports book, you turn on that aggregator and you can pick and choose from all the games that are on offer. So we've just plugged one into Chameleon to open up more casino games, and that's got over 6,000 game options on it for our partners. So just getting into one aggregator opens us up to hundreds of sports books. So we're looking to get into many, many aggregators, get ourselves access to thousands of online casinos and sports books next year, and then generate revenue from every one of them that takes our games.
Okay. I guess what investors want to understand is like, what could the revenue picture look like a year from now, so that way they could kind of value the stock. I mean, could you be doing 50 million, 100 million? Like, what kind of upside is there once everything starts kicking in?
Yeah, those are targets for us. I don't think we'd be doing that next year, but we'll be ramping towards that in the next few years for sure. Is where we're trying to get to. We don't like to put out huge numbers like that on speculation on talking like here, but those are the numbers we'll be going towards. And so we're pretty conservative in terms of our estimates, but like I said, it only takes one of our games to really hit it, and it's like a home run. Same thing with one B2B partner on Chameleon that's a top tier sports book that could hit it. Covers the whole cost of our company basically. So
what does that mean? Can you explain that? What do you mean when you say it takes it becomes a home run? What is exactly a home run in terms of dollars?
So, well, in terms of dollars, they could be generating, hundreds of thousands a month for us on a rev share. So we have unlimited upside potential with our partnerships. So on a B2B product, we sign a deal with somebody, and they're using our platform. We have a minimum monthly license fee. So we have a monthly recurring revenue that we know is going to be there, but then we take a revenue share as they grow. So, and that there's no cap on that. So if we have a large, if a group takes off in terms of betting volume, even casino volume, whatever, we're taking a percentage of that revenue back to the business.
Okay. Wow, interesting. Let's get some user questions, audience questions, I should say. Marcus asking about the Android and iOS app.
Yeah. So we have to look at market by market. So right now we don't. We are looking at the UK. The problem with Android and iOS apps is you have to deal with the app stores. So then we're in a pretty regulated space. So they don't just allow gambling apps into the app store quite easily. So if you're in a highly regulated market like the UK, then you can get your app into the UK app store. With McBookie, they've got a product, and we'll be looking to probably enhance that. So currently, we avoid the app stores because then you also have the challenge of the part of revenue they want to take. So
yeah.
So gambling is a really challenging one to get into app stores.
Okay, wow. Okay, so Scott, let's wrap up here
Okay.
before we have you come back next time. Again, like as we always ask right now, based on everything that's happening, your opinion, what top three reasons why investors should consider, FansUnite stock today?
Yeah. So top three. I mean, one, I always think that people looking at stocks like this. Again, you mentioned we're in the Canadian market and the OTC. I think you need to take a good look at the team and the group. And so if you look down, up and down our team, you look at our board, and you look at now the partnerships we have. I'd say look at kind of who's happy to align themselves with a company like ours. And if you look at our history in the space, Darius, who started Fans, I started Ascot, both been at it 6 years, gone through multiple licensing regimes. So I think if you look at the quality of the team, the board, and the investors and around us, that'll give a lot of comfort to the fact that we're kind of here to stay and poised to be a successful company. You're coming in right now. You're right at the major inflection point, I think, for the business. As you say, like revenue is going to be ramping on all three fronts. So that means the B2C operations we have, the Chameleon platform, but also Ascot Games. So you're coming in at a point where you're going to see the biggest growth on valuation and on revenue. And as I think we talked about, I think we've been a bit undervalued currently after the merge and people, trying to understand what this merged entity looks like. So more education from us on that. So we'll be doing more of these things. But again, I think it's an undervalued stock at the moment. So it's a good opportunity.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, Scott, thank you again, and we'll have you back hopefully in the next couple of weeks once you have some major news out.
Yeah, we'll have something for you.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for joining us for our live stream today, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, thanks.